Our environment is so often voiceless and defenseless.
All natural areas can't speak for themselves. They require living human beings to give them a voice and speak up for them.
And ELPC has really been the voice for and the defender of the environment in the Midwest for 30 years.
You need lawyers to advocate for change, to push for change, to file lawsuits when necessary. And it requires an organization like ELPC that won't take no for an answer and is committed to fighting for what is right.
ELPC's mission is to protect the Midwest's environment. From the very beginning at ELPC, we said we were going to play to win. We were going to make a real difference. And that's what drives the people here.
30 years ago, on both coasts, you did have some pretty strong environmental advocacy happening, but you didn't really have that in the Midwest.
There were a lot of little battles going on, but there was no one looking at policy. None of them were coordinated, and none of them had the legal muscle that ELPC brought to the table.
There was such a need for a group like the Environmental Law and Policy Center in the Midwest. There was an opportunity to put it together. 7 major foundations liked it. They offered to invest in it. And I just thought it was an amazing opportunity and also an enormous challenge.
And I was all in right away. It seemed to me it was a great idea. I had known Howard for a long time. So when Howard called me and said that there were these foundations that wanted to fund this kind of work, I thought to myself, this is a real opportunity to make a difference.
When we started ELPC, we thought big. From the very beginning, hardwired into our DNA, we said we were going to achieve environmental progress and economic growth together.
And so our job at ELPC is to create the political, social, business environment here in the region so that our leaders see a carbon-constrained world as an opportunity rather than a threat.
We're going to focus on the energy and transportation sectors because if we want to deal with the pollution problems, that's where the pollution is.
ELPC focused on fighting bad new highway projects. There was a proposal to build a series of additional ring roads around the city of Chicago.
These tollways didn't make good economic sense, they didn't make good environmental sense, and as we won in the courts, it put us on the map as an organization that could focus on some important strategic challenges and really make a difference. Now, when it comes to climate change, the problem is getting worse. And this is the challenge of our generation. And certainly a big deal has been shutting down the old, highly polluting coal plants. Illinois became one of the first states in the country to regulate mercury from coal plants that would reduce mercury pollution by more than 90%. We all know what mercury does. It causes brain damage in kids. We protected kids' health, and we protected the environment.
Oh, it was huge. It was one of these things where I think it really showed ELPC at our best.
Clamping down on mercury pollution here in Illinois really set the table for national standards that went even further. And so where Illinois led, the nation followed.
So look at how the world is changing. We saw a system that could move toward energy efficiency and renewable energy and be much cleaner and greener, and we've seen that happen over the last 30 years. The Midwest has a number of great places where big-scale development is just not right. When the special places of the Midwest are under threat, our conservation, community, and environmental partners come to the Environmental Law and Policy Center and they say help. Just look at what ELPC has protected around the Midwest. We stopped the prison on the Savannah Prairie and protected the largest unfragmented sand prairie along the Mississippi River. It's now the Lost Mound National Wildlife Refuge. We stopped the proposed Ileana Tollway that would have made a mess of the Medeowan National Tallgrass Prairie, the first national tallgrass prairie in the country. Saugatuck Dunes by the state park, and now we're playing a key role in northwest Indiana protecting the Indiana Dunes National Park from excessive pollution, ammonia and cyanide by one of the big steel mills. And in southwest Wisconsin, we're out there working to protect the scenic driftless area landscape. And finally, the Great Lakes is a very special place. It's where we live, where we work, and where we play. They're the largest freshwater body in the world and supplies safe, clean drinking water to 42 million people in the United States and Canada.
ELPC fights tirelessly to protect the Great Lakes.
The Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, ELPC has played a key role in getting that money allocated on projects that do real things to protect the Great Lakes.
When we started the Environmental Law and Policy Center 30 years ago, it was sort of lonely. And now we've helped build a movement. In Chicago and around the Midwest, we're engaging and training a generation of public interest advocates.
Having this environmental voice, bringing people together, creating these campaigns that are making a huge difference, all of these victories add up to a real impact.
Progress takes time. Over the last 30 years, ELPC has created the foundation we need to truly address climate change. So the work we're doing is not just about making the Midwest a better place. It truly is about saving the world.
50 years from now, there aren't going to be monuments to ELPC. It's going to be what didn't get built. It's going to be what pollutants weren't put into the air or the water. It's going to be that we have a more resilient and livable planet where humans and nature can thrive together. I believe that is ELPC's ultimate legacy.